Join me as I traverse 100 years of horror cinema, one flick at a time. The Mummy, 1932. Off the back of Dracula and Frankenstein, Karl Jr. was keen to keep the hits coming. The real-life opening of Tutankhamun's tomb in the 1920s inspired the idea. With one eye on Dracula and one eye on the box office, The Mummy combines two qualities. One of the core story with enhanced lost love aspect from Dracula, and the casting of soon-to-be legend Boris Karloff instead of Lugosi. Karloff had just hit it big as Frankenstein's monster. There may have been a temptation to make the Mummy a lumbering beast, like this character, as would eventually happen in the Mummy sequels in the 40s. Instead, thankfully, the Mummy as played by Karloff is far more sympathetic, but equally hypnotic as Lugosi's Dracula. The setup of this film is effectively a 10-minute prologue, leaving only 60 minutes for the film proper. However, the acting of the old players and the setting of the mood and tone are so effective that it runs the risk of taking over the rest of the film. Sloan returns as a Van Helsing-like character, and the revival of The Mummy is one of the best horror sequences ever put to film. It is slow-paced and tense. The decision for the Mummy not to kill anyone went against the wishes of Laemmle Jr., but was the right one. Instead of the death of the young man, the audience sees a dusty handprint, and the young man laughs maniacally as the sights just off camera are enough to drive him mad. This is the genius of Karl Freund, back again from his camera work on Dracula. It is he that helps to elevate this picture to the top of the pack and to be at least the equal, if not surpass, the previous film. 10 years later then, the Mummy is disguised as Ardith Bey, a stilted, docile but sinister man who uses his disguises as an Egyptian at a British dig site to uncover the remains of his love from thousands of years earlier. Her spirit is held within a modern-day woman, a descendant who has since fallen in love with a rather ineffectual archetype for these sorts of films. Karloff's restrained performance with some powerful but subtle visual effects and close-ups make for mesmerizing viewing. Once the audience discovers the truth, that he is a man in love and merely wants his soulmate back, it becomes genuinely difficult to side against him, even when he begins to commit atrocities. The last 10 minutes of the film take a slide as the pace crawls to a stop and a single set. The resurrection of Ardith Bey's lost love takes too long to execute, but a nice twist is his love, now awakened but still in the body of Zita Johann as Helen Grosvenor, realizes that he belongs with the dead, and she is the one to end his suffering. So is this as good as Dracula? The boudoir scenes of characters falling in love or trying to outmaneuver the villain are similar, but the more effective acting in The Mummy makes them work. Van Sloan's character is more devious and capable than his Van Helsing, making him a joy to watch. The more sympathetic villain is a bonus, and the love across time, later used by Francis Ford Coppola in his Dracula of 1992, is compelling. The young love to an irrelevant young man who our leading lady has only just met is far less believable. There is also more use of music compared to Dracula, which was becoming more common and adds to the atmosphere. Perhaps it does not quite hit the highest of highs that Dracula does, but The Mummy stays far more consistent throughout. The acting is on point, and as the final card reads, a good cast is worth repeating. And so it is. A genuine classic. Enjoy.